Nigeria's political capital, South Africa's national petroleum company, or Sanpc, says the state-owned enterprise has entered the operational phase following its emergence last May. Nazim Braff, the executive manager at the office of the Sanpc CEO, told me in his fireside chat last Friday in Johannesburg that there is a lot more to be done, both regionally and across Africa, by the oil and gas company in order to position itself as a national champion and a key economic contributor.
I think you are the Sanpc is the latest South African state-owned enterprise, been formed. So you're the newest baby. So I'm going to ask you how the baby is doing. And bring us up to speed just 7 months after the amalgamation, as it were, Petro SA and others. And what was the latest? How much has been done so far in the last 7 months?
So I think, first of all, I will use the word Sanpc, as the minister loves to call it, as opposed to Sanpc, to create any confusion in the marketplace. So I'll use the word Sanpc. The Sanpc was really conceptualized, and it will take 3 steps to operationalize and make sure that this company takes off completely and achieve the growth that we expected. First of all, it was the formation phase, and then it was the operational phase, and then it was the growth phase. I'm delighted to say the formation phase has been completed through the project and under CEO Moahi and the project team. We went live on the 1st of May, and we are now in the phase of stabilization and operationalization. We have transferred a number of assets into this company from the legacy entities as part of this merger, SFF, iGas, as well as Petro SA. We are now also in the process of optimizing that asset, as we commonly say, the quick wins. And we've also transferred 400 employees into this entity. So we are a fully operational entity, fully legalized entity, and 2 critical issues for us. Number 1, how do we go after value in the short term? And secondly, how do we manage this change? We cannot do this change without a cultural change program for 400 employees. So shaping and laying the foundation currently for this new state entity, fully integrated, let me add, to take off. So I normally say, I wouldn't compare it with a baby, I would say the jet is on the tarmac and is preparing for takeoff.
So when we talk about local value chain development and industrial participation, which are key components of G20 energy agenda, how are you ensuring that oil and gas projects drive job creation, local fabrication, technology transfer, and are there metrics and framework for measuring what has been achieved as you move on, putting all those assets together and deploying them on the field? I
think there's a number of issues for us as Sanpc. First of all, we don't see ourselves just in the activity and the mandate of ensuring energy security. We see ourselves as a very important catalyst to establish being a big contributor towards the building a national economy. I think the minister earlier talked about, contribution of GDP of 4%. Currently, this industry contributes about 1%. If we benchmark that with the likes of the Senegal, 40 to 50%. Other countries with resources of this nature is a mega contributor towards the GDP. So that, for us, is the key driver to make sure this Sanpc champion really becomes a champion and make a big impact. And of course, critical to this offer and the mission of the Sanpc is to make sure we make a dent in terms of job creation and unemployment in this country. 30% unemployment is significant in this country. And therefore, job creation is an imperative for us. Same with skills development, as well as economic development in partnership with local fabricators as we move towards industrial projects in partnership, etc. So that's at the heart of what we're trying to do. And I want to touch a little bit around the issue around human capital development. I accompanied the CE a few weeks ago to ADIPEC. ADIPEC in United Arab Emirates is probably one of the biggest events I attended together with him. But it was very striking when we saw the corridor of Europe, the corridor of the US, China, etc., and all the companies and the expertise that these companies present. And I must be honest, the Africa flag was carried by NNPC, but not a lot of, if not any South Africans in that. So I think it's very important when we talk about partnership and partnering with, we need to be right up there with the best in the world. So we need to create that opportunity for people to say, this is what good look like. And likewise, I think the issue around technology. I mean, I was absolutely blown away with the theme around AI and technology. And not AI in the sense that we use it, but how it's being used in the petroleum industry today.
Okay.
It is just phenomenal.
Yeah.
And as a SANPC, that's one of the key areas that we want to drive. South African universities that we are speaking to around this, but we also discovered that is AI universities that we need to deploy people. It's very scary because we run the risk of being behind the curve. And as SANPC, as an incubator for development, we want to be right up there with the best of the best. So I think overall, job creation, skills development, fueling local enterprises is going to be a key part of the SANPC agenda. So what is it different for me to shift from Petro SA or SFF? We've got to create a hope. We've got to create a vision for people to hang on to it. And part of this development offer of our people is very critical to us.
I think we're getting to the heart of this conversation because shaping Africa's energy future is just energy transition on one hand, and now you want to exploit hydrocarbon benefits for the benefits of South Africa and even within the wider Southern African region. So how would you be balancing that?
Absolutely. I mean, very critical question for us. And our point of departure from as a Sanpc is very much to start with the issue around energy poverty in Africa. We have to recognize that as the point of departure. 600 million people not access to electricity. It's only a statistic. If we look at the total population of Europe today, it's 450 million people. So when we say 600 million people do not have access, contextualize that in the whole of Europe. We would historically say that's the dark ages of Europe. That is the colossal problem we have. So that is our point of departure, or as the SANPC. However, if we look at the horizon, and I look at the map the other day, and I urge you to look at it. If we look at the 2050 horizon from a population growth perspective, we're going to have 2 billion people in Africa, the youngest population in the world. And if we look at two aspects to that, we look at the boom of resources, be it gas, be it oil, currently being developed in the continent.
Yes.
And we look at this huge demand that's coming and is growing.
In front of us.
In front of us. And that for us as a SANPC creates a significant opportunity to make a difference. Because we need to make sure, as we say, from the well to the customer, because this customer base is going to develop. And it's very critical for us to look at how do we use the current hydrocarbons in South Africa and the rest of the continent and link that up and become the driver for the just energy transition. And I don't like to use just energy transition. I like to call it responsible just energy transition. I put R in front of it because the two issues are not mutually exclusive. We need to utilize the current hydrocarbons, industrialize, to make sure we get real momentum into the economy in South Africa, industrialization, but with a very clear view. It's got to be sustainable. And how do we drive the just energy transition and the principles and the program of the G20 as part of this process? Because we have to correct both the developmental needs of South Africa and the continent, as well as be clear we need to leave a legacy for the future generation.
What would you be putting on the table before investors in terms of policies and regulations that will speak to them? Look, let's have the money on both sides. You don't want to leave any dollar on the table. Or the rand, by the way, I'm sorry. I want to leave any rand on the table.
No, absolutely. I think the minister has done such a good job together with the SAF was conceptualized, the SANPC, that we are inundated with queries as to when are you taking off, when are you really getting into the investor roadshows, etc. And I think for us there are two pieces. Number one, there is a opportunity. The investment boom in Africa is going. We know that some of the biggest discoveries are happening. Namibia up the road is, the real big show for this year. And therefore, we want to make sure investors are looking for three issues. They are looking for policy certainty. Uncertainty create capital flight. It creates nervousness for investors, etc. And therefore, policy reform and certainty is a critical part for us. I think the introduction and the approval by the President of the Upstream Resource Development Act has been phenomenal. So that is in place. I think the Minister alluded to some of the issues that we have around environmental protection versus development, and actually it is not mutually exclusive. It's how do we resolve that impasse to bring and attract capital back into South Africa is absolutely vital to us. The third part is around, I think a number of speakers have talked about regulatory process. Streamline licensing, regulatory processes, etc. We particularly look at Sanpc, look at two countries where we see the benefit of where this has been done. Trinidad and Tobago is a fantastic example.